We have a special guest on the phone, and he pretty incredible guy, Representative Greg Steube from Florida, House Judiciary Committee on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Airborne Infantry Officer, U.S. Army retired JAG Corps officer, and I could go on and on with his resume. It's certainly more extensive than mine and certainly more honorable than a career in broadcasting. The representative joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hello, sir. Welcome to the Rob Carson Show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on the show. Been watching some video of you, my friend, the last couple of days, including this Terrorism Prevention Act that is being bandied about on Capitol Hill, and you wanted to include two terrorist organizations that took part in over 500 riots and caused $2 billion worth of damage, Black Lives Matter and Antifa, but you're running into some headwinds from Democrats on that. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, isn't that fascinating? So, the impetus for all this is obviously January 6th, and they want to paint anybody that are conservatives as right-wing radical terrorists. So they authored a bill. This was yesterday, and we got through the rest of it today. Yesterday I tried to file this amendment, but it would just identify neo-Nazi groups and white supremacy groups, because those are the only domestic terror groups that we have in the United States. So despite the fact all of last summer we saw Antifa and Black Lives Matter create destruction all across our cities, going after our federal buildings, going after our federal courthouses, officers, retired officers like David Dorn being murdered by Black Lives Matter and Antifa groups, and all these atrocities that occurred that I would obviously put in the category of domestic terrorism. So I added a simple amendment that would still include neo-Nazi and white nationalism, but would also add Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and radicalized social justice organizations, which there was one of those not too long ago that invaded the Department of Interior. And I asked the Attorney General about this, and he knew nothing about it, despite the fact that it happened like miles down from his office. Well, of course, every single Democrat voted against that, because this is about one thing. This is about a political agenda that they have, and they're gonna use this political agenda all the way into November, because it's all they got.
It is remarkable, and it's quite sickening actually. And after a while, you begin to realize that that's why they call Trump supporters white supremacists and Nazis. That's why they do it. I mean, it started on college campuses, Representative. It started on college campuses decades ago. Anything that you said that was conservative would be considered racist. That started to fade as far as effectiveness, so they came up with white supremacists. Then they moved full-fledged Nazi. We've already seen through the actions of the Justice Department that the Justice Department is not interested in pursuing anything to do with real domestic terrorism. They're more concerned with people who speak out against critical race theory. So I would assume that we will have another at-bat with regard to something like this, perhaps when Congress becomes Republican.